So, folks, welcome to this episode of Rumble. My guest today is somebody from a very interesting field, which is photovoltaic cells. In fact, he's on solar energy, makes heaters for water as well as for making power. So, welcome to the show, Venkat. I've been dying to get my hands on one of you people because there's so much of, as I say, secrecy in this business. Maybe because it's all in the hands of small players and nobody wants to nobody wants to disclose certain things.
It's not like that.
But we didn't know. But tell us, how does solar energy function? I mean, it's like not the heating thing. I'm talking about power.
Yeah. Solar power is nothing but the silicon cells, which we use it in the semiconductor industry similarly. And it is a PN junction diode. Once the solar radiation, the sunlight is falling on the solar panel, the electron movement starts.
Okay.
So it is a slow movement automatically. Then it is arranged in series and parallel to ensure the energy we get it. But the output from the solar panel will be a direct current, unlike an alternating current. So we need to store it in a battery, or we have to invert it into AC and then load it to the grid.
Okay, so there's one intermediary step. From battery it goes in, from battery it goes direct.
Yeah, from battery also we need to again convert it to AC and use it for your gadgets.
Okay.
Or you can directly run the DC gadgets.
Alright, so now technology is well known, well established. There are no huge patents or some copyrights. So is there anything like that? Is it freely known to everybody?
It is a very open technology.
There's nothing
special in it.
Nothing special. So from what I understand, it is manufacturing of these thin silicon cells.
Yeah.
That is actually silicon sliced in some manner. Is that a physical slicing of a block, or is it? What does it mean by slicing?
It's a laser cutting. It is a laser physical slicing only.
It is
in terms of machine.
It's not something being layered on glass or something. It's actually cut.
It is cut. It is silicon ingots,
which
is cut into slices.
So who makes the silicon ingots?
Sand is blasted and silicon is generated. It's separated from that.
All right.
It is not actually made in India because it is an energy intensive process.
Okay.
So it is done in US, Germany, Russia and some.
So how much of intensive energy are you talking about? I mean, we've got thermal plants which generate huge energy. We've got nuclear plants that generate energy. Why can't they use their energy just to make dedicated power panels?
See, normally energy there is a policy decision where in countries like India where we have energy starving countries, we are not able to generate because the power consumed in separating the sand to silica is very high.
Okay.
So it is not done here.
So finally, those silica panels cannot be sold at a price to justify that.
Definitely.
That's the reason why we import. So there's no other reason. Tomorrow, if China just gives us the finger and tells us no more panels for you guys, we can do it.
We have to do it. No other go.
No, can we? We can.
But it is going to be costlier.
That's all. It's only a matter of cost.
Yeah, because the energy generated today in our country with a power station and other things is much costlier than in certain pockets where they are doing it.
Okay.
So definitely it is going to be a costly process.
All right. So cost is something else. It's like people buy BMW cars, they also buy the Nano. So that's a choice that people can use. But the technology and the knowledge and the ability is there with us.
Yeah.
No rocket science in that. Anybody can do it.
No rocket science.
Okay, so that's at least comforting to know that if push comes to shove, we can make it in this country.
Definitely we can.
So it's only a profit motive now which makes you buy it from China and bring it here.
Yes.
Okay, once it comes here in ingot form, the UV slice. Slicing is local?
Yeah. At certain areas they are doing it. Certain companies they are taking it as cells.
Okay, they're imported in cell form.
Cell form itself.
Okay, so now comes the critical question. What does it cost? We're still mystified when it comes to cost.
So actually in 1981, the solar cell was costing you 400 rupees per watt.
Okay.
And at the time, the efficiency of the solar cell was around 7 to 8% globally.
Okay.
Today, it has increased to a level of 17% on the commercial grade.
Okay.
And in the R&D grade, it has gone up to 22%.
Okay, that might take many years to come into public.
Yeah. And the price of 400 has come to 50 rupees per watt today.
Okay.
That is the drastic reduction, which is the driving force in our country for people looking at an alternative source also. If it is going to be 400 rupees, it will be only used in space shuttles and remote locations where the grid cannot penetrate.
So now it's 40.
Yeah.
So
50 rupees.
Okay, so almost a 1/10 of what it used to be.
Almost 1/10 of the cost.
Okay, still why is it not taking off? Is it ignorance?
Lack of awareness. We cannot tell ignorance. Many people know that the solar will work. But the lack of awareness is not to that extent that it is going to be economically justifiable as well as the environmental friendly.
Now, when we say justifiable, half the time we know that the grid power fails. It's a common thing, or either the industry is drawing too much or this fellow is drawing too much, so we don't get power, we have blackouts and all that. All that will stop if people have their own little power source.
This crisis has been experienced in the past 3 years, and parallelly we have a cost reduction in the modules. So definitely it is creeping into the market.
So that you are seeing the difference already.
Yeah.
Thanks to failure on the main grid, this is your thing is improving.
It is really a blessing in disguise for us.
Yeah. No, so we could afford to have some more power breakdowns. At least this energy sector will increase in it.
Definitely, definitely.
And how many players are there in Tamil Nadu?
Almost 50 were there. Now it has gone to 350 people.
So it's almost a done cottage industry.
Yeah.
How does that become such? It's supposed to be high-tech stuff. Now it's become like every house has it.
Today we have modules manufacturers across the country. That is, they buy the cells and convert it into a module.
So that's just a mechanical thing, putting it together.
Yeah. It is an assembly unit only.
All right.
So they just assemble it, laminate it, and give it.
So even an auto rickshaw repair fellow, one of those little guy, can put together a module. You just take the parts. Even wiring is not required.
Wiring is required.
So that then they
should. It's a DC wiring, like a regular battery wiring. UPS people, all the UPS people have cropped into it.
Okay.
And there are a lot of technology transformation to them.
So you think that we have just about entered this business and growth is still waiting for us? Is that the way it is now?
Definitely.
So when we were talking about now this being freely available, this technology, so let's just get into some cost analysis.
Okay.
Now, for a domestic consumer of power like me in my house, if I use 100 units, that would be what in terms of...
100 units on bi-monthly basis or...
Let's say 1 month.
Okay. So that is 3 units a day, 3.5 units
Okay, so what would that be in terms of rupees? 100 units a day?
Going into a solar panel for that?
No, just grid power.
Grid power 100 units means it is 450.
450 rupees and I can use that much.
Yeah.
All right. Now imagine I am using your photovoltaic solar power without going into the cost of installation. That's a capital expenditure. Forget that. Just getting power from the grid, from the solar panels. There is no expense, is there?
Yeah, definitely.
Is there expense?
No.
Nothing. Zero. So once installed, you're getting free power.
Yes.
So you have to just worry about recovering your investment cost.
Yeah.
That's all there is.
There is a battery component inside.
Okay.
That battery will last for 5 years.
All right.
After that, you need to go for a replacement.
So let's talk about an average house. You need, let's say, you're running 4 fans, the 4 bedrooms, let's say, or 4.
Okay.
4 lights.
Okay.
And maybe a pump.
Okay.
Occasionally, not all day, and not using air conditioning. Yes,
okay.
Only this. Okay. What would be the power consumption of that house?
10 units a day.
Okay, so that's 300 units.
Yeah.
So that's even less than the 400 units I spoke about. No, I said about 100. I said 100. So this will be 3 times that.
Yeah.
So it will be 1200 rupees.
Yeah.
To get that. So 1200 units being generated out of this plant, which costs us 3 lakhs to put. Is that the cost?
Yeah. Investment cost will be 3 lakhs.
Okay.
And you will be generating 10 units a day.
All right. So I can get much more than what I'm using when my first calculation from the grid.
Yeah.
That was only 100 units.
Yeah. Here we
so
are
if I also go to 100 units through this also, it will become again
the cost
1/3 of that.
Yeah.
So a system where a man requires to run 4, 5 lights, 4, 5 fans, would cost him about 1.5 lakhs. Am I is that right?
Yeah.
So okay, so that 1.5 lakhs is a capital investment.
Yes.
He could spend that on putting on some stupid portico in his building, or building one extra bathroom, or he could do a garden. That money money would easily go.
For a teak door, it is equivalent.
Yeah, but a teak door will cost you a lakh of rupees with carvings and all that. So that's all the money you need to put a solar unit, which will supply power for all this.
Yeah.
And the only consumable, so to say, would be the battery that gets used.
Exactly.
And that would be like 8,000 to 10,000 rupees a year for battery replacement value.
Yeah.
So basically, it's only 1,000 rupees
per month
that he has to pay, and all these things will run.
Yes.
So if he goes into 3 lakhs, then his monthly expense will be 2,000 rupees.
Yeah.
But it will give you uninterrupted power.
24 hours, 365 days, you can assure.
So you're not dependent on TNEB.
100%.
So isn't that reason for everybody who's building an independent house to invest in this and be forever free from, polluting the air, contributing to global warming, and being subject to the local engineer or the electricity board?
Definitely, it is a viable proposition.
So it is only ignorance that keeps people away from installing it when they build the house.
Definitely, and when you want to load heavy gadgets like an air conditioner or a microwave or a bigger power-consuming gadgets like an electrical geyser, then this doesn't sound attractive.
Yes, yes. Well, I mean,
for essential loads, 100%. Even refrigerator can be operated on this.
Geyser is only used in extremely cold weather, I would imagine. So that's not so terribly required in Tamil Nadu, though people say.
See, TNEB cannot be offsetted. It can be used as a supplement source, and primary can be solar. That will be more viable proposition.
So when you build a house, let's say average cost of building a house today is 2,000 rupees a square foot, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Reasonable construction.
Yeah.
So a 2,000 square feet house will cost you minimum 40 lakhs to build.
Yeah.
In that 40 lakhs, you are talking about an additional 3 lakhs, which will make you almost independent of power supply from any.
The house cannot be at dark.
Ever.
Yeah.
So that's a negligible price. I think it's just ignorance that people don't go in for.
Awareness.
So what do you think should be done to increase awareness?
So the user, if the supplementing power is there, automatically people rely on that. Because we are more used to grid, and whatever we use it is only in the monthly meter we look into it.
Okay.
Other than that, we are not bothered. When we start using this solar, they feel that why create a discomfort with a comfort? That is what the imagination of the customer.
I didn't understand that. What is discomfort with the comfort?
See, when you take solar, people have a myth that it is going to be working only in the daytime and not in the night.
Okay.
So this has to be eradicated. So slowly it is getting released from the mind of the people.
So, but as manufacturers of this solar power units, don't you guys have some way of letting the people know exactly what it? Because I was ignorant until we are speaking now. I have no idea what it costs me. So,
see, in the market,
I must be an average man.
In the market, very recently after the power cut has started, all the people have gone into, the UPS people have added solar panels.
Okay.
And it is not sufficiently added to fulfill the requirements. But again, it is still supporting with the solar. Assume that the solar is 10% and 90% is from the grid.
Okay.
And it is only a UPS selling added with a solar. Okay. So it is not really reducing the power bill, unless otherwise there is a standardization in the products they buy. And the customer is not aware. And you can substitute a solar power system for your house where you can convert 90% into solar and 10% with grid. That is what we are talking about right now.
Yes.
But today's market is operating with 90% electricity and 10% solar, where the small players who have entered into the field make 100% margin out of it. That is exploiting the ignorance of the customer.
So it suits them to do what they are doing right. They are quite happy. People never understand it.
Customer is ignorant, so they are exploiting it.
Okay.
And it's for a short time player, it is 200% margin, and he is very happy.
Okay, so can't you get, who are the people who should actually be using this constantly so that the rest of the country or rest of the people come to know about it? Shouldn't government be the first to use it?
Definitely.
All government offices should have this thing on their roof?
That is the biggest boon for the community to understand that solar is viable.
Like in all small villages, the village officers, Tahsildar, Taluk, whatever.
So slowly remote villages are getting tried to convert into solar.
Okay.
Where if it is effectively maintained and maintenance in the part, it is the battery maintenance only.
Yes.
In certain villages, through the government support, they have implemented it. But after 3-4 years, once the battery fails, where is the fund? The villager is asking, it is not working, and the government is looking, where is the fund? In which agenda I need to put it and replace the battery?
Some heading it has to go for a replacement battery. Yeah. I've been seeing in the villages that they have these lampposts there with one small little thing facing. Are they bright enough to actually, for him to see a damn snake crawling on the path?
Definitely. It is readable in the ground, sir.
It is?
Yes.
And why is there no funding for a battery? It's not calculated at all, it's just ignored? Or?
See, in village, the biggest thing is they have a grid connection and they have street lights. But since they don't have a running money to pay the running bill,
okay,
they cannot take it from corpus. So their street lights bill is not paid to the EB department. Finally, what they do is they simply shut this off and start using solar lights because they have a good corpus funds. So both is being practiced there.
So there are people using it. It's like
definitely.
And they appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
So where is your main market when you're selling under your company name?
In terms of lighting, if you say, all the fishermen hamlets has been supported by the government.
Okay.
For their locations to street light, and it is sometimes serving as a lighthouse for the people who go for fishing and coming back.
That's from the grid.
Yeah, no solar lights.
Solar, okay.
Because that their hamlet is not powered with electricity.
Oh, it's remote and
remote
it's on the beach.
hamlet. So 20 fishermen are living in that house. One solar light is been put over there, and it is standing as a lighthouse for them when they come back.
So a building, an apartment block, would also be a very good place for the government to enforce this rule that at least common lighting should come out of this.
Yeah, common lighting and water pumping can be done with solar.
And when you put it in a block of, let's say, 20 or 30 or 40 flats, you don't even know how much to apportion for it. It will be such a small...
Yeah, definitely it will be a viable proposition.
So every city corporator, every councillor should ensure that his area, the multi-story buildings, especially residential blocks,
Definitely it can be enforced.
So there'll be probably less...
And it is not only enforcing, but this 30 households will come to know that this is a viable proposition after doing it. And automatically they will practice it in their house, because when they will get a common bill and they feel that it is viable, then automatically when it is working, why not for me also? I want to grab the share of savings.
Okay, but you won't be able to do it in a building, no? But there's so many flats and only that much roof space available.
It is possible, sir. It is possible.
It is?
It is possible.
Let's say 40 apartments in a
technology is refining. The size of the modules are going down.
I see.
So automatically over a period of time, it is going to happen.
And there is no maintenance for these panels? They just run forever?
Yeah, 20 years is the normal life of it.
Okay, nobody's lived long enough to
20 years warranty from the company has been provided. Okay. So beyond that, it will run, but there will be a drop in the efficiency, say about 15%.
And that also we don't know right now, because we haven't used it for 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so buildings in the cities can benefit. I always used to think that it's not good for apartment blocks, it's only good for individual houses where they have the amount of area to put this
They
on
can
top.
benefit out of it.
In some small manner.
Yeah. To a certain extent, to what possible extent we need to grab.
Okay, so the heat in that area has got nothing to do with power generation. It's like you put it in Coimbatore, which is a cool city, or up in Kurur, which is even cooler. The power generation does not get affected with ambient temperature, does it?
In an average, we get around 5 hours of average radiation crossing the solar captive power. Okay. So wherever you go, in certain areas the intensity will be higher, and the amount of radiation will be good, suitable for that. Okay. It's hill station, if you go, the 5 will become 4 hours. That is it. Overheating, there will be a drop in efficiency. So overall efficiency between the hills, plains and other places is marginally different.
So it can be used anywhere?
Anywhere.
So it's amazing how we have not really gone into this. And is it also partly because of the failure of the government to give you your subsidies which you've been promised, that is slowing down things?
Today's subsidy is making the manufacturers die, rather.
Why is that?
It is not promoting the manufacturers.
Okay.
Because the receivable from a small player, from the government for a small player, is huge. Okay. And it is the capital cost. It is not only his profits, his capital also getting blocked. Okay. So he is paying more interest than what the subsidy is getting.
So the subsidy is paid after you have installed it.
After installation, it will be paid. And for the past 2 years, it is still.
Yeah, but why can't you guys collect directly from the customer and say, I'm going to pass the bill on to the government?
The government wants a single point check as a manufacturer, and they want to release it.
But you're killing the industry. I mean, it makes no sense.
That is a
and they don't pay your bill, that means you die. You die means the industry dies. So it's better let the customer die. Let the customer pay you the full money.
Actually, the benefit is to the customer. If it is passed on to the customer, that is the greatest thing. But they don't want to handle too many people. The government doesn't
want. Typical thing, I can't deal with so many small players. But now with all these, unique identity, Aadhaar, these should be routine.
See, online procedure also, they made it cumbersome. After 1 year, now they are asking for all these cards to be submitted again. To release the subsidy for the past 2 years.
Is that because of corruption? I mean, by people themselves being
it is not corruption, because it is a fixed unit. It is not something like a kerosene which is going to be transported from here or there. It is a fixed unit. Okay. So once it is inspected, then automatically they need to release it. But the time taken between the state and
okay, why can't the state just say no subsidy to anybody? You install it if you like it, don't like it, don't put it. Don't mess around with this subsidy. But people are intelligent, they understand that actually my cost will only be so much. It is a negligible cost when you look at the overall cost of my house, and they will not stop worrying about this subsidy.
Over a period of time, it has to happen. The government.
Why aren't you guys pushing for rationalization? You just say, listen, stop this damn thing. Don't talk about any subsidy. I don't want any subsidy. It is viable as it is.
See, people, initially it was only a limited quantity. Now it is given for all. So the manufacturer is also waiting for it to grab it.
So it's like free money for them. If it comes, it comes.
Yeah, that is how the situation goes.
Okay, so all in all, it is something worthwhile for us to wait for. I mean, better technology, or forget back to better technology. As it is today itself, we ought to be using it.
It is, see, 10 years back, if you ask me, it is not a viable proposition. Today, because of the cost, as well as the efficiency has gone high, it is a viable proposition. It is on par with the grid. Why not we go for it? Because it is a green power.
And it's far better than this
it is more reliable.
wind. More than the wind drops to zero, it doesn't turn the blades. But this is pouring in
all the day. Yeah. All the day, and 365 days we are getting solar
How
power.
about during monsoon time? Does it just completely get eliminated?
No. It needs only a bright sunlight, and it is available almost 3/4 of the day.
Even during the monsoons, that little sunlight that comes around will generate
intensity
power.
is there. No?
Okay. So, all right, folks, if you're watching this, I mean, you've been sitting there and depending on the government to give you power all time, all the day. Stop depending on them. You've got this technology is available. When you're building a large house, it's negligible. You'll also be setting a good example to your children, your neighbors, the community, everybody. So thanks a lot, Venkat, for coming over. I really hope you won't sell billions of these units in our country.
Definitely, we wish to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.